Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salalo Makwidiri. We're going to be beginning the show with a story that has jolted families across Johannesburg. It's essentially a story of trust betrayed and dreams destroyed. And at the center of a growing number of complaints is a woman identified by victims as Premila Shunmugam. She's accused of running what appears to be sophisticated travel scam under the name of Silver Touch Travel, and across social media she's now being referred to as the Greenstone Swindler, with dozens of allegations surfacing from clients who paid large sums of money for international trips that were never booked. One group, 16 travelers on a single booking, later joined by another five, and they lost just short of 500,000 Rand. Another family of 12 preparing to fly to Bali on the 30th of December. To celebrate an 80th birthday, say they lost around 330,000 Rand, so almost 400,000. And this morning we'll be speaking to two of the victims who join us live, Shikhar Deonath, who was part of the 21-person group, and Wendy Thomas, whose family holiday for her father was wiped out, just like that. And they're here to tell their stories, not just for themselves, but to raise awareness, to warn others, and I think to an extent to try and perpetuate justice, because that's a lot of money, and you can imagine the emotional toll that this has taken on them. And they're joining us live on Salam Media this morning. Good morning, guys. Wendy, Shikhar, glad to have you guys on the show. Really appreciate you giving us your time at a very testing time for you guys and your families.
Perfect.
Good morning. Thank you.
No, thank you. And I think, Shikhar, we'll start with you. We'll just jump right into it. How did you first come into contact with Premila and the Silver Touch Travel group, and what actually convinced you and all 16 of those that you're going to travel with that this was a legitimate deal, and one that you can be safe to take?
So Pramila's son is actually one of my closest friends, and we've been friends for many years, hence the trust in the deal, and hence paying without any questions asked. And I've also known Pramila for many years, and I know of her owning a travel agency, and I know of people who have successful trips with her. So when I got offered the package, I jumped on it immediately. And within a few weeks, I passed it on to a few family members, and they all jumped on it as well, based on the same trust. And hence how we got to 21 people and almost 500,000 Rand of loss between myself and the family.
Give us a background. Where did you guys want to go? I think it's a really big number. Was it a celebration of some sort? Why did you guys want to take the trip?
No. So it wasn't any celebration. It was to Mauritius for New Year's, and the initial group was a group of 10, which is makes up myself, my parents, my brother, my family, my brother's family. So that made up the initial 10 with the kids, and then again we passed it on to family members who are frequent travelers, just to not lose out on this opportunity, because it was supposedly a good deal. So it was just a family trip to Mauritius for New Year's, and yeah, that was our reason behind doing it. And it happened to have been the scam that everyone who's involved had the same story as to how they got the package so cheap. And I believe it's closing on to almost 200 people in total.
And at what point exactly did the first warning signs appear for your group? Was it delays, missing confirmations, or just changes in the way that you communicated?
Yes, so we have been getting several delays along the way. Again, because of our relationship, I kept on giving her the benefit of the doubt every time she gave me an excuse. But when it came to end of October, early November, we started to get a bit more anxious, because we are so close to the dates of travel that we put pressure on her daily, and we followed up on literally every document she shared with us. And a lot of it were fake documents, fake reference numbers. We even got fake proof of payments. And eventually we got to a point where we stopped believing what she had to say, and started spreading this word. So I'm the one who first created the first post and got the word out there. And that's how all these people came together. And literally every single family believed they were the only one caught out on this. But like I said, there were several families involved.
Wendy, let me come to you. Your family was preparing for a major milestone. I think your trip was supposed to be on the 30th of December to Bali for your father's 80th birthday, correct? Can you give us a bit of background on your story?
Yes, that's correct. So my dad at the beginning of the year said he's turning 80 this year and he would like to do something nice for the family, knowing that the grandchildren are all going to get married and move into their own directions. And we have been on a Mauritius trip through Pramila last year, June, July, and everything went well. So I made contact with her. She kept on during the year sending me specials and this and that. So I contacted her and I said, well, we've got this trip upcoming. Is there any suggestions that she's got, or maybe nice packages, whatever? She sent me a few suggestions and a few quotes. And eventually she sent this quote via WhatsApp on the 31st of March for the special in Bali. But if we pay a 50% deposit now, my dad only pays 50% for his ticket and accommodation. And she was almost like harassing us for that. In actual fact, she said if we paid the full amount, that my dad will go for free. So we thought, that's a lot of money. And my dad committed then to the 50% deposit, which was paid on the 1st of April. On the 22nd of May, I said to her, listen, we haven't received any formal documentation. Is everything still fine? Everything. And then on the 22nd of May, she sent me booking confirmations and everything. A friend of mine said that, these things you have to make sure. And I said, well, I have traveled with her before. And I thought, let me just do my own due diligence because I haven't received any documentation except for her booking confirmations. And she kept on saying to me it was a block booking. Obviously, only when we pay the balance will we get our individual tickets and so on. So I actually contacted Air Emirates and asked them if there were any bookings done in our name. And they confirmed nothing was done. So I made contact with her again, and she confirmed again that it was a block booking. It wouldn't now show in my name, but everything is confirmed. Then on the 1st of, she told me that the balance was due 2 months before traveling, but on the 1st of August, she sent me a message to say that we have to pay our balance ASAP. The rules have changed with Air Emirates and so on and so forth. So we made the balance payment, and she said it will take 2 days afterwards to get all the confirmations. Well, several days have passed, and every time it's like, I'm just with a group now here, I'm just with a group now there. And the next moment she says, well, I'm in ICU with kidney failure and I can't send it now. So I asked her, well, it's easy enough just to send an email. And she said, no, she doesn't have emails on her cell phone. And she's the only one in our office now, and all sorts of excuses. And eventually she, and I quote, unquote, she said to me, because she got very aggravated with me trying to get information from her the whole time, said, why are you so paranoid? Your booking is done, Wendy. If there was any issue, I would have let you know. Your bookings are paid for. My business are going through some challenges, but that does not affect your booking. So that's why I didn't say anything to you. And then she also said, I will never steal from old people. So I said, my dad is very paranoid. Please just send me the confirmations. So eventually she sent me some other confirmation from a hotel, but I realized that it was a copy and paste type of job. Phoned the hotel. They said that they supplied her with a quote, but no payments have been made. I've made contact with her again, and she got very aggravated, saying that she paid via Forex. It takes a while to clear. And it didn't clear for a whole week. And then eventually I contacted our lawyer, who sent a letter to her demanding our tickets or a full refund. And she still said to him that she only needs until Monday, the 24th of November, because there's a big commission payout that's coming through, and then all the balances will be paid and all is sorted. And then when our lawyer made contact with her again on the Monday, she said she's meeting with her lawyer on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, and then the lawyer just sent us a letter to say she is voluntarily liquidating her company.
Mm.
And that is the summary of all. But I mean, the lies, even a week before my lawyer made contact with her, she said, don't you have any humanity in you? I've now been diagnosed with uterus cancer. So she kept on playing these emotional things that, she's going through a difficult time. And all I wanted was proof, but no proof was ever given. No hotels were paid, no flights were paid. And yeah, that's the end of our trip and the money, because it seems like there's not much in her business that she's liquidating.
Shikhar, let me come back to you. On your side, what was the last communication, direct communication, you've had with Premilla? And you also mentioned that, you are very, very close to one of her sons. How much did that personal connection influence the trust that you have in her? And has that been severed, essentially?
Yes. So, of course, like now, due to the extent that this whole thing has gone out, obviously that friendship has taken a strain. And just to add on what Wendy mentioned about the sicknesses and all of that, again, because I'm friends with the entire family, I have got confirmation that all of that is false claims about her health. And the last time I had a face-to-face meeting with Premilla was about 2 weeks back, on the Friday before she got her lawyers, well, rather while she was in the process of involving the lawyers. And she said to my face that she has hotel confirmations and she's taking money out of her own account to book the flights for us. And the following communication we get from her is that the company is going into liquidation. So obviously that meeting we had face-to-face was just to keep me quiet and buy her time to get herself into liquidation. Fortunately, we didn't believe it, and in the same time, we got our own attorneys appointed. But yeah, in sense of the lies and the miscommunication, because of the friendship I had with her son and the rest of the family members, I did get the truth out of everyone. And yeah, so we're in this position. And again, it's because of that friendship we trusted her along all the excuses we got along the way. And, to an extent, they were valid, but obviously when we look back, we should have been a bit more aggressive, but we did not see this coming.
And being so close to the family, were there any signs that maybe the business was in a bit of trouble? Were there signs that, they might be having financial difficulties, or you didn't get a hint of that?
None of that. I know where they live. They live in a good complex, a nice house. They drive nice vehicles. So there was no sign of having financial troubles. And I did many times along the way of waiting for confirmations, did tell Premilla that if you are having any hassles with the booking, speak to us, because if we need to pay like a few extra rands, or if your company's we can't pay that money, or if your company's having hassles, tell us, we can back out of the booking. And she kept on reassuring us that everything's under control. The amount we paid will cover everything. So that for me, and I even shared that with the son, that I said to him, what, the fact that you're admitting earlier in the year there was a financial crisis with the business, you should have been transparent at that point, and we could have backed off earlier. But the fact that they kept it under covers, and they told so many families that this package came about because it was initially booked by a family who lost her husband in a car accident, and hence the urgency to sell it so quickly to recover some funds. And we believed it, and so did apparently 200 other people. And yeah, obviously that same sort of fake package has been sold to many people, and just coincidentally no one discussed anything.
Shish. Wendy, let me come back to you. How much exactly did your family lose, and how did you eventually break the news to your father that the holiday was not going to happen, something that he was looking forward to celebrate a big milestone? I mean, 80, it's not everyone, eh?
So Leila, I can't tell you how I tried to postpone that, and I kept on asking Premi, must I pull the trigger and tell my dad that there's difficulty? And she said, please don't, please don't. Everything is going to happen. Everything is under control. So for the past month, I've been literally physically sick because I've been trying to hide it from her dad, not to worry him, thinking that maybe I'm going to get him worried and then the trip is still going to happen, because she kept on reassuring me it will happen, it will happen. And I mean, I eventually phoned my brother and said, please, you break the news over the phone, because he's down in Cape Town first. And my mom and dad lives right next door to us. And then I'll walk across and then break the news. But my dad was just so gracious, saying that, I shouldn't have carried that burden myself. But I kept on trying to believe, believing her and all the lies that she told and all the confirmations. And then she said, so excited because the hotel that we booked have got she had to pay a surcharge for a nice New Year's party and everything. And, she kept on giving this information. She even asked us for head and shoulder photos, because she'll help us with our electronic visums. Got the whole family to send me the photos and send it to her. And I thought, you know what? If she can look all the people that she's booked on this trip now, look at their pictures and just have some humanity. And she kept on saying, well, at the last conversation that I had before she told me, just after she told me she's got uterus cancer and that she'll send the documentation when it didn't come. And the last conversation I had with her, she said, yes, her company has gone through some difficulties, but she's got this commission payout. She's got 3 trips that she still has to honor. Ours is one of them. And the end of January, she finishes with her 3rd trip that she has to honor. And then she's going to liquidate her company. So and she's getting this commission, and the trip was still going to happen. But it's really devastating, because I don't mind doing my own bookings, doing my own travel. I do that often, but trying to book for a group of 12, 6 have to fly from Cape Town. My mom and dad, I thought, you know what, it's maybe better to do it through an agency and leave all that to them, the shuttle from the hotel and everything, because yes, my mom and dad, my dad's 80 and my mom's 78. And, they don't move as easily anymore. And I thought, well, this is perfect. And because we went to Mauritius through Pramila last year, and there were no hiccups. So I've really been devastated. In actual fact, I sent an article like mid-year of these old folk that have been swindled out of their money for some other cruise. And I said, you know what, my dad brought this under my attention. Friends of his were supposed to go on that boat cruise. Please is everything secure? My dad is a bit worried. And she said, everything is sorted. Everything is secured. What a shame that these people are putting our reputation in the market at risk, because they are such scallums. And lo and behold, she was actually one of them.
Sure. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at some of the avenues that you guys have taken to try and seek out, recourse, justice, to try and get your monies back, because I think that's very, very important. And we'll be doing that after this ad break.
Media. You South African, of course. You anxious about the future. We've got you covered. Build on your wealth portfolio with Randry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange. Visit us at 151 Stephen Dlamini Road, Musgrave, Durban, or call us on 031-202-4700 for more information. Randry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
When disaster strikes, families lose everything in an instant. Homes destroyed, communities displaced. Hope fades into uncertainty. Our Global Emergency Fund ensures we respond without delay, delivering food, water, shelter, and healthcare to families in need. To support our Global Emergency Fund, visit islamicrelief.org.za.
Yasin Badat Financial Advisory. Are your financial goals feeling out of reach? Yasin Badat Financial Advisory is here to turn your aspirations into achievements. Our dedicated team, armed with a history of success, is ready to guide you through the complex nature of financial and investment planning. Whether you're a seasoned investor or new to the game, Our personalized solutions cater to your unique goals and risk appetite. Trust in our commitment to transparency, integrity, and excellence. Ready to unlock a world of financial freedom? Partner with us today. Call Yasin Badat Financial Advisory at +27 33346 2071 or visit www.yasinbadat.com. Yasin Badat Financial Advisory, guiding you to financial success.
Our brothers and sisters in Palestine are enduring unimaginable hardships. Ashraful Aid teams are on the ground, delivering crucial aid to those in need. But we can't do it alone. Palestine is suffering and they need your help. Your support can make a world of difference. Visit www.ashrafulaid.org today and donate to bring hope, relief, and healing to those who are in need.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salailo Makwidiri. We're still looking at a very, very concerning story. If you just joined us, there's a travel agency company named Silver Touch Travel, and it is run by Premila Shunmugam, and she's accused of running what seems to be a sophisticated scam, scamming families hundreds of thousands of rands on holiday packages that were never booked, and we're not even sure if they even existed. And we're talking to two of the victims, Shikhar Deonath, who was part of a 21-person group, and Wendy Thomas, whose family holiday for her father's 80th birthday to Bali was wiped out. Thank you so much for staying with us, guys. And I think the next part of this interview is a very, very important one. Recourse. What steps have you guys taken at this current moment? I don't know, to get some monies back, to try and fight the legal route. I'll start with you, Wendy. Any? You mentioned that you contacted your lawyers. What's the latest on that?
So our lawyer sent the letter, as I mentioned to you, on the 21st of November, demanding either the tickets or the full refund. And if she can't deliver that we will consider not just suing for the money, but also lodge a criminal case, thinking that maybe that would scare her a little bit. And then when a lawyer contacted, she just said, well, I can't pay the money back, and you must go on with a criminal case if you want to do that. So at that stage, I was still chatting to my dad, and also it's bad enough to have that disappointment of the holiday not happening, but now to go into a full long legal battle, whatever. And then earlier this week, a friend of mine forwarded me Yusuf Abramji's Twitter post about a family that was also swindled, and I emailed him and said, well, it happened to us as well. And I think that's how you guys came about talking to me. So I realized now that I always thought it was just the 3 families that she mentioned, that she's going to honor their trips and then she's going to liquidate her company. But it seems like there were many more. So we are definitely opening a criminal case. But to be very honest, listening to some stories, I don't think there's much in the company that she's liquidating that we actually paid our monies in that could help us recover our funds at this stage.
And on your end, Shikhar, any steps that you've taken to try and, I don't know, get some money back to try and find justice, recourse?
Yeah, so basically the same story as Wendy. We also appointed an attorney. At the time of appointing, we assumed we were the only people affected, and we were going, I wouldn't say as aggressively as we are now in terms of getting the money back. And in terms of history of hearing cases of scams, getting money back is the most difficult task. So at the moment, my target is to play criminal charges and get her arrested, because I think if any money comes back will be a bonus. So yeah, we've also appointed lawyers between the several families. Some of us have grouped up together and joining one attorney, but there is things being done to lay criminal charges. Many families have already opened cases at their local police stations, and some are still pending case numbers. So there is a procedure, because the total of this is probably sitting, I'd say, close to about 5 million for all the families that have come forward so far. So as a group action, I think now that everyone believed that they were in this alone, and now that we've all come together, we're taking it quite aggressively now to have justice served to her.
And you being so close to the family, just looking at the pattern, the delays and the disappearing acts, the lies of being diagnosed with cancer, and all of the false promises, what do you believe was Premila's strategy here? Was this a once-off con type of thing, or something calculated, possibly repeated at some point?
I believe it definitely was a premeditated, planned scam. I also think she didn't expect all her victims to come together like they have. I think she expected everyone to think they're alone in this, and a lot of people just to drop it, because, like Wendy mentioned as well, the legal fees involved in getting anything back, depending on some of the trips, because there's a lot of trips that are a lot cost a lot less than ours. And I think the legal fees would have not made any sense to take any action on it. So I think that was her hopes, that no one's going to take things as seriously, maybe just open a case and, knowing how things go, probably just let it disappear from there. But I think now that I'm glad everyone's come together, it seems like we can get something done. In terms of money coming back, I'm not confident in that, but I think we can get her charged for criminal actions such as a fraud and racketeering, etc.
And I just come back to you, Wendy. I mean, between you two guys and your families, there's over 100,000 rand that has been lost. What would justice look like for you, and how are your families coping with the financial fallout? I think the disappointment of the holiday not happening, your dad's 80th, and how graciously he took the news is one thing, but this is still a lot of money that you guys are parted with nothing in return.
Yeah, it was close to 340,000 rand, and it's hard-earned money. At their age, they really want to leave something for the children, but it was really my dad's intention to just get everybody together. We are a very, very close-knit family. So yes, it is just tremendous. We're still reeling of what has happened and trying to make sense of this. And really, yeah, so at this stage, we just trying to make alternative plans for December, just to still try to get together. Whatever it takes. Obviously, it will not be an elaborate holiday, but just because at the end of the day, it's really just to get the family together. So at this stage, yeah, I'm getting all teared up again, because, yeah, it's just can't believe that people would actually go to such lengths of lying and deceiving people for their own gain. I know that Premila at one stage said to me that she had a very successful business for 10 years and she lost a big account, if I recall correctly, from MultiChoice, and it got a little bit tight. That was what she confessed to me when she said her company is going through some difficulties, but nothing that would affect our booking. So I really think that it just got out of hand. I don't know. We tried to think it was all premeditated, how long it's been going on, or whatever the case might be. But she was just rolling the trips, using some family's money to pay for the one that booked previously, and just rolling the money to get everybody. And I think it just caught up with her, as well as her lies, because the truth will come to light. And I was quite surprised to see how many other families have also been affected by this.
Shikhar, on your end, I mean, you guys lost almost 500,000 rand. Are there alternative plans now? Where to from here for your family members and friends who are looking forward to this holiday? Okay, we seem to have lost Shikhar there. Wendy, just to wrap up with you, to everyone else that's probably looking to go on holiday, these Christmas holidays, they want to go somewhere with the family, they're looking for a travel agent. Any advice that you'd give them? Any red flags that you noticed on your ordeal that you think, if you see these kinds of signs, you should definitely run?
I think I am usually very cautious in terms of these things, any online transactions. But because we have been on a trip with her before, I thought that would be the good route to take. I would definitely, if you feel like I felt, having to do it through an agency due to the fact that maybe it's a bigger group, or maybe you don't have the know-how to do it through companies like your Thompsons and maybe your Rennie's Travel. Yes, but I couldn't see the red flags, as I said, because we've had done a successful trip through Pramila. And yeah, it's just unfortunate. I think people tend to trust, and I have to say my trust in people have definitely been scarred, due to this ordeal that we've been going through. But I would definitely say rather go through the bigger companies, the more reputable companies that have been maybe registered with the tourism board, although Pramila has been registered with the PCO Alliance, but I've been hearing that she's been using their logo. She hasn't been a member since the beginning of the year, and she's been using their logo on all her correspondence also illegally, because she wasn't a member of them anymore. So we did do our due diligence, and I see all the comments on Facebook, people saying, well, you should have known, you should have used a reputable company, and so on and so forth. We really did thought that we could trust her. But I think going forward, take a few extra minutes and try to organize the trip yourself. Book directly through the airlines, and with booking.com, at least you have got some way of recovering money if the trip doesn't happen. So yes, it's a very expensive and a very soul-destroying experience that we've been through. And lesson that we've learned.
Most definitely. And the sad part about going to the big corporations is you're taking business away from, small local South African businesses. And, when you try to work with them, things like this do happen. But Wendy, thank you so much. Heartfelt thank you for joining us, for sharing your story. I think it's a very, very important one. We'll definitely be following the story quite closely. We'll try and, to try give a right of response of some sort to Prem. But yeah, really, really appreciate it. And I hope we chat again soon.
Thank you for putting the story out there, and thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
There you go. Heartfelt thank you to Shikhar, Deonath, and Wendy Thomas for sharing their experiences this morning. Very, very painful stories, man. But I think very, very important to highlight. I think for me, the most difficult part of it is the fact that, you're always told to support local small businesses. But then things like this happen, and you're like, do we really support local when you're unsure on whether or not you'll be losing 300,000 rand of your money, hard-earned money in this economy? And aside from the money, the anticipation of, going on holiday with your close friends, your loved ones. I mean, for Wendy, her dad's 80th birthday, it's a milestone. She wanted to spend, a very, very important part of his life with his children, grandchildren, but that's not meant to be. As I mentioned, this is a story that we'll continue to follow quite closely. We'll try and get Premilla Shunmugam and Silver Touch Travel on air for a right of response. Very, very important. If they see this, if they're listening to this, they can get in touch with us, and we'll definitely have space on air to have them tell their side of the story, so that it is balanced. But at the end of the day, it's a story that will continue to follow. We'll try and get some victims, because there's a lot of families and monies that amount to almost 5 million rand that have been lost during this ordeal. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues after this.
By day, this is Salam Media.